One example is if you started investing in 2015, for example, and you've already had a property go full cycle, it's a 4 or 5 year deal, and you achieved a 15% return, and you've been focusing on real estate and learning about real estate for the last 4 or 5 years, what naturally happens is you think to yourself, wow, if I was able to do a 15% return back with what I knew in 2015, well, surely I can get a 20% return now with what I know now. And the reality is nothing can be further from the truth.
Yeah.
It's very hard, though, from a marketing perspective, not to let yourself be susceptible to the reality that if you underwrite a deal conservatively, if you put out a 12% IRR, which, by the way, if I could lock in a 12% IRR in my entire portfolio right now, I would 100% do it. The reality is the response many times, even from sophisticated investors, will not be as compelling because they aren't looking at things on a risk-adjusted basis, which I think is a big part of what you're talking about.
Exactly. And I've actually, you could probably hear me tapping away on my computer. It's just because I'm taking notes. So forgive the sound of my keyboard here. So there's a couple of things that I wrote down here. It is the hazard. It is one of the hazards of crowdfunding. And this actually gets back to your first question, right? What changes have we seen? Well, crowdfunding has only been around during an uptick. So, one of my friends actually is a trader. And he loves to send me these doom and gloom economics articles about the general economy. And most of it I don't understand. It's a field I don't really understand. But one of his commentators that he sent to me used the term, described it as he described the kid economy, AID. We're in the kid economy. And the way he described that, he was talking about the stock market. Again, that's above a different market. I don't know about that. But it applies to real estate as well. What he was describing was an economy or a market where so many primary actors and participants in the market have not experienced a downturn, right? They've only been, I ask people, how old are you? If I hear anybody tell me they're 33 or less, right? Basically, you've just not experienced a downturn. Not possible. You have not experienced a downturn. And that means that you, in all likelihood, are going to suffer when the market comes down, right? I mean, it's just the quandary that you've described is simply stated based on a lack of experience. And the only way to overcome that is through experience. It's like going to Vegas, right? Until you win on the first roll of the dice, you think, and then the next and the next, and you think you keep doubling down. Eventually, you lose. That's what happens. But the way that I guide my clients, actually, because it is difficult for developers to succumb to the temptation of raising money just by competing with the guy next door, right, who's got this 25% IRR, what's some kind of wacky idea. It is tempting. But the way I guide my clients is that you're not just doing it for today, right? You want to be one of the guys standing during the next downturn. And the way to do that is to be pragmatic, is to be prudent, is to be upfront on how you're mitigating risk and not to be afraid to say that our IRRs are in this humble 12 to 15 projected range or whatever it happens to is because we are coming to the end of a cycle and we anticipate a recession, for example. And that's going to impact returns.